Alrighty, folks, we are going to play a clip from Lewis Howe's conversation with Grant Cardone. This was something that Cody Davis sent me and said, here we go. It takes a decade. Cody, thank you for sending this to me. What was it about this message that we'll play in a minute that really resonated with you?
Well, every time I talk with you, Matt the Lumberjack, we talk with Dion, the common message from the people that are around 100 units or less is it takes a decade. And I saw this clip Grant Cardone posted on his 10X Studios page, and he said, look, if you want to get really rich, it's going to take 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, someone who's gone past multiple billions of assets says the exact same thing that all these other guys are saying, and it really validated all of our conversations. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really love the thesis of this conversation between Lewis Howe and Grant Cardone, and it really is, if you want to get rich and you don't want to mess around. And by taking this clip, he's also really talking to the young folks, right? I've told people all the time, if you really want to get after it at 18, you should be financially free by the time you're 25 or 30. So let's play the clip. We're going to just put it in the microphone here, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. Why is it not playing?
Our test run was good.
Yeah, well, here we go. We'll go back. Here we go.
We'll just say the best way is to multiply money. No weekends, no out playing out, no trips in the beginning. Like if you want to create real wealth, don't improve the quality of your living, quality of your life. For 10 years or for the first few years? Probably for 10. Wow. I mean, if you want to get rich.
Yeah, so the whole idea there is if you want to get rich, it's a journey, it's a decade. But I think where he started with that conversation was equally important, and a mistake I see lots of people make, and frankly, one you have avoided, which is amazing at such a young age, because I did not avoid this at a young age. And that is, as your income goes up, your lifestyle goes up, right? I'm the moron who bought a $50,000 car when he made 40 grand. He got his first big boy job. And that's what really Grant is saying. It's like, hey, if you're going to get on this journey, buckle up and don't increase your lifestyle, right? Take all that extra income, slam it to the bottom line, what is called disposable income, buy assets, have those assets increase, have those spit off cash flow, and then live off the cash flow in a decade. That's the formula, Cody. It's that simple.
Yeah, and the problem I see is a lot of people my age say, well, you're only going to be young once, so it's okay to splurge every once in a while. And the problem is that's true. Everything they're saying is true, but what they end up doing as a byproduct is they create a bad habit. They say, well, I did it once. It wasn't really that bad. What's another few more years of working if I do it again? And it becomes a spiral that never ends. So while what they're saying is true, which is why it's easy to grasp, I can go buy the R8 or the McLaren because I'll just have to work a couple more extra years for it. Then they justify, well, if I was able to justify a car and only cost a couple years, what if I bought a nicer house and spent a couple more years? I deserve it. And
or the second house or the this or the that. It is a very slippery slope. And again, I say this as a guy who made the mistakes. So you're just selling years of your life. That's the way I would look at it, right? If you're on this journey to get rich or get wealthy, like Grant is talking about, and you want to get to the finish line, buying the McLaren or the second home or whatever is going to slow you down. It'll go from 10 to 15 years. And then pretty soon you're middle-aged. And if you keep going, you'll be old like me. So again, just realize getting rich is actually remarkably simple. Create disposable income, become really good at some asset investing, and then do it for a decade. It doesn't matter if you're 20 or 60. The rich formula is the same.
And what I like is 10 years is going to pass whether you do it or not. So you might as well do it. And foregoing that, I mean, I was just thinking back to this. I was in high school 7 years ago. Another 3 years, it will be my 10-year. Wow. Yeah, it will have been a decade. And whether I did anything with that decade or not, it still would have passed. I mean, I could have not bought anything, and I could have been working at Target and nothing against Target, but I could have still been working those types of jobs. If a decade went by, I'd be making a little more than I was then, but not much.
Yeah. Well, let me paint a vision of your 10-year anniversary, right? First off, I never went to mine, so I'm going to go just from memory. But you're going to go to a 10-year reunion. You're probably going to be financially free, right? I have no doubt that in another 3 years, you're going to be financially free, not having to work. You're going to be around, your classmates who are now 27, 28, 29. Most of them probably went to college. They're probably still in their entry-level job, maybe have had one bump. They're, again, if they're going to be like most people, they're going to be drowning in debt because they did buy the car and bought the house. Some of them will be married. Some of them will be divorced. Some will have kids. And there will be 2, maybe 3 people who are financially free. And you're going to be one of them. Dude, you're going to feel like the odd duck. You're going to be talking about things and how you spend your time, and people are not going to be able to translate with you. You're going to be the odd guy at the event. It's going to be wild if you choose to go.
We'll see. What I've been told, and I can only go off of what I've been told, is that a lot of people fake it at their 10-year, and then
I'm sure
there's a lot more reality setting in at the 20-year and the 25 and 30-year. So we'll see. But I plan to just go and try and connect with people for good old times.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. And again, the whole idea is if you really want to get rich, Lewis Howe and Grant Cardone, you've got to be committed, right? What I would say to that is getting rich doesn't happen by accident, right? It's a process. It's a journey. It's a decade, right? If you want it, you can go get it. That's the beauty of the American economy is if you want it, you can go get it. You're living proof of that. I'm living proof of that. Dion, Matt, and all the other millionaires on my channel who started from nothing are proof of that. Right? We're not born into some caste system where our lot in life is decided the day we're born. We can make decisions, take responsibilities, and do amazing things in a relatively short amount of time, right? A decade is really not that long, right? You're going to live to be 100. You're going to have 90 years, or, if you want to skip kids, you'll have 60 years of being financially free and wealthy. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but more so than myself, it takes a commitment from everybody else to want to get there, and getting validated from someone who is all about go, 10X. Like, you can do this and you can scale up and become a millionaire in 90 days. Like, he does all that pushing. But when you go to those interviews, it's like, no, it does take a decade when you're talking in long form content, being realistic. Yeah. It's good to see that.
Yeah, I actually interviewed Grant Cardone once. The sound quality wasn't good because he was in a hotel's Wi-Fi was terrible, but we still published it. And I actually asked him, because he actually went from buying homes to buying apartments, right? He tells that journey. I think he had 2 homes, and then his next purchase was 32 units in San Diego, I think. But what he doesn't tell in his story, and what we got into, is he spent 2 years learning the market, what I would call a buy box, right? Getting that discipline. He would go see stuff and underwrite and do all of this. It's a process. You don't just wake up one day and figure out real estate. It takes a process and discipline and focus. And I was really happy to see Grant kind of dive into that in our conversation about the 2 years it took him before he could buy an apartment, right? Because he had a lot to learn.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of his interviews, probably all of them, from if it's 5 years or older. I've probably seen them all online. And what I saw was he bought 2 rental houses, and he bought a duplex, and then he bought and I've seen him say it both ways, so it's got to be a memory thing, but it's a 32 or a 38 unit. It depends on the interview.
Yeah. 30 something.
Yeah, 30 something. But it's interesting because it wasn't like an overnight, like some of his interviews allude to, as I just went from here to here. He bought 3 small, so it was either 2 single families and a duplex, and then he scaled up. Yeah. Like, it takes time.
Yeah. The other thing I took from that conversation with Grant Cardone is people don't realize he actually, he owned Lionel Richie's house, right? He bought Lionel Richie's house, which just had to be a Mac Daddy pad down in Southern California. But he actually sold that in the crisis to raise capital, right? To get breathing room. And he actually lived in a hotel. And then one thing he told me in the interview that I never heard anywhere else is he lived on a cruise ship for a while teaching real estate, right? Can you imagine Grant Cardone being a real estate guy on a cruise ship for, I don't know, a couple of months? I don't remember how long it was, but again, he was doing everything he could to buy time during the crash. And I loved what he said in another interview is the next time it happened, he's going to be ready. And I think he's taking advantage of it now.
Yeah. I think he had 300 rentals during 2008.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I mean, that's big.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly it's bigger than me. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun to watch a guy who's totally committed. And then the other thing I told Grant in our discussions, I called him a snake. Now, I wasn't calling him a snake badly. I was like, Grant, you shed your skin, right? You are the car guy, right? And then he was the, this, and then he was that, and he's constantly growing. And when we had our interview, I told him that I thought he was shedding his skin again because now he's going into politics. I don't know if you've seen, he's trying to do this 10X California thing, right?
Yeah.
He's potentially running, which I hope he does. It'd be nice to, see a different voice in politics, but yeah, I don't think Grant likes to be comfortable, right? He's always itching to get uncomfortable. He kind of lives in that chaos. So it's kind of fun. It's fun to watch him evolve again, right? He just did his last 10X event, I guess, in Vegas a few months back, supposedly not doing those anymore. So it'll be fun to watch what he evolves into.
Yeah, and we all do that in segues of our life. I was just texting Dion. He just texted me back. I was like, what do you think about me self-managing my portfolio and bringing that in-house?
Yeah.
And that'd be a next leg in my journey. It saved me 90 grand a year.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. There you go.
But
there you go.
Always evolving.
There you go. Again, let's close on this. What are your kind of closing thoughts? Again, you heard Grant Cardone say it takes a decade. What do you think? What's the process, people should get on?
I saw an Instagram post and I shared it to my story. And Robert Kiyosaki, a different character in the space, shared this. And he said, opportunities are seen with the mind, not the eyes. And so my takeaway from that message is, yeah, it's going to take a decade, but the opportunity will probably be in front of you because everybody can see it, but you have to get in the right mind space to be able to execute on it. And so watching this type of content, when I was getting started, I was watching a Cardone and a Kiyosaki video every single day, just trying to get my mind right. And whether it's those characters or it's Dave Ramsey or it's you or Dion or Matt, whoever it is, you got to get your mind right to be able to see the opportunities. And I found that to be consistently true.
Love it.
For regardless of if it takes a decade or 5 years or 20 years.
Yep. Love
Time's
it.
going to pass.
Yep. Time's going to pass. Well, folks, you do have the pleasure. You can also follow Cody on YouTube. He's documenting his journey. I think it'll be wonderful to look back in a decade to see what he's accomplished. I know I will be looking back on that. What is the YouTube channel?
Cody Davis Business Adventures.
There you go. Cody, you're amazing. Take care.
All right. You too.